here, and I'd like to take you on my adventure at Anthro Northwest 2023. Anthro Northwest is Seattle's local furry convention where many of Washington State's furries get together for fun and games and more, and enjoy the magical fantasy life they all bring together under one roof. This year's Anthro Northwest happened on the 4th day of January up until the 7th. Sadly, I didn't get to go this year, but I'm more than willing to share with you my adventures from last year. So let's hop on a train and head over to Seattle. It's now all aboard for Seattle's Furry Convention. When I got there, I was excited to meet so many furry friends, both old and new. I lined up to pick up my con badge. I had a whale of a time getting through though, because I forgot my vaccine card, and I had to go in for a COVID test before I could get my badge. I applied for a sponsor membership, which got me plenty of privileges, which I'll discuss later on. The first of these being that I got one free gift from the convention store and another for 50% off. The Anthro Northwest gift store has many items for sale. They have t-shirts, they have plush dolls of Andy and Cope, the two mascots. They have mugs, they have key goose, and various other items for the convention for sale inside the shop. Seeing souvenirs of Cope was a surprise for me, as I remember most everything revolved around Andy Wolf. Well, since I already had so many souvenirs of Andy from some of the previous times I attended Anthro Northwest, including an Andy plush doll from 2018 and an Andy backpack from 2021, I chose the things that had to do with Cove. I got a Cove plush doll and a Cove backpack. Later, I went to enjoy a movie. They were playing Zootopia.
Oh, Christ, here comes the waterworks.
You pulled together.
Bye, everybody!
Later on, I went to Andy's Adventureland. This is an entire room filled with bouncy castles, my favorite one being the pirate ship. I had a lot of fun here, but ended up using all my energy with the amount of jumping and playing in this one area. Some of the playthings were not in Andy's Adventureland, however, such as this ball pit near the dealer's den. And I had a lot of fun playing with some furry friends here too. Next morning was the official day of opening. I attended the opening ceremony, which also turned out to be a wedding ceremony, as Andy and Cove were getting married during this event. Which brings me to the theme of Anthro Northwest 2023, love.
Andy, you may now nuzzle the bride.
And there was a speech from Gabriel, the CEO of Anthro Northwest. Let's listen.
Our theme of love today, we should elucidate the different types of love, as there are so many. In English we just have one word, but in other cultures there's a lot of different distinction between the different types of love. We have words for them. The Greeks were especially good at that, having 6 different words for love. Here in our culture, when we say love, especially for the younger, it's often thought of something hot and spicy. But this is only one of the sides of the multifaceted diamond that is love. There's many other dimensions to it. There is love that is felt for community, natural love for family. There is love that is felt for friends, love for those who suffer. There's a special type of love that is sacrifice, that we often feel for our children. There is love that causes the stirring of special feelings inside of us. There's love that's romantic, love that's from hot passion. The Greeks had special words for playful love, deep friendships, holy sacrificial love, constructive love of self, and even long-standing love. Perhaps the word's not really the important part. Perhaps what matters is the connection. In our culture here today, having all the different types of love wrapped up together is hard. Our society expects everything at once. And if you aren't ready for that, you might believe that as a single you can't have the intimacy that every human needs. That is, though, very much not the case. Every human deserves connection. Every human deserves deep friendship. Every human deserves intimacy. Every human deserves love. In France and the Middle East, in some European countries, it's common for grown men to go down the street holding hands. In Europe, the traditional greeting is to kiss on each cheek. These more ancient cultures value non-sexual, intimate, and physical connection between friends. They understand the need for touch and closeness. These are basic human needs. They're completely possible as a normal part of life. My life's work over the last decade or so has been the pursuit of love, to receive it, to let it grow within myself, and to share it. Part of that has been trying to work on expressing love better. As someone who tends to be more mind-focused, I've been trying especially hard over these past years to focus more on love actions than love thoughts. This is the action of being in loving service, or communicating to someone that I love them. I've been trying to tell my friends that I love them more with words. I try to offer to hold hands. I try to offer G-rated snuggles and intimacy to more people, especially those who don't have opportunities for that normally. So many of us are alone so much of the time, but as humans, we all need the emotional, physical, and spiritual connection that can be part of friendship love. Now, furries are really good at expressing love. Perhaps the costume makes it a little safer. It lets us try things in a safe environment. As furries, I encourage you to love a little more. Try new expressions, hold hands, tell your friends you love them. It's hard at first, but it's so important and truly rewarding. We can be the ones that normalize love again. We can be an example to the world around us to normalize the natural human connection. I hope that all of you feel loved as you attend the convention. If you come to Anthro Northwest and you feel welcome and included in love, that is success. There's a very special weekend ahead. I hope you take time to hold someone's paw, to verbalize the love you feel within yourself as it relates to those around you, to express the connection you make as we interact with each other. When you bring love into yourself, you'll be transformed by love, and that will change the world around you. May love find its way to you.
My favorite form of love comes from Lectivus 1918. Love your neighbor as yourself. Furries are actually very good at that. There's not one lick of prejudice within the fandom. Many are homosexual, in fact. Several others have disabilities. And there are some like me who are autistic. And it's a great community where love is shared between everyone. After it was over, I got a chance to say hello to Andy and Cope before heading out to the dealer's den. At the dealer's den, there were many kinds of stalls from various furry artists, selling pins, keychains, fursuit spray, and even pre-made fursuits. This opens on the second day of the convention and ends on the fourth day. During that time, people come here and see themselves into buying everything they wanted. I've been here multiple times during my trip. There was also a room filled with all kinds of bouncy inflatables. Of course, my favorite was the kangaroo. There was even an art gallery. There were plenty of panels worth attending. The first one I went to was the Hungry Hungry Hippos tournament, hosted by Blue Kitsune, Hubcap, and more. To my surprise, I actually won the first round. I didn't win the challenge, but I did have lots of fun doing it. After that, I went to see the video competition, hosted by Captain Boons. I saw a lot of videos, and many of them were very interesting. Although, some were rather emotional. Afterwards, Captain Boons handed out all the trophies, and we headed out. Later, I met a furry handing out some sweet lollipops, and she was kind enough to give me one. Since I applied for a sponsor membership, I went to a special dinner that was only for sponsor members, and there was a whole buffet with lots of neat treats. And I left this place rather full. There was even a night dance. I had lots of fun dancing to the music. Ended up dead tired though, and by that time I decided it was time to go to bed. But there was one panel that provided a great bedtime experience. There were bedtime stories told by Tabin Pup. This is something I attend every time I come to Anthro Northwest. I see Mr. Pup every time I come here, and he recognized me a lot, and I'm always happy to see him and his pup TB as well. Sadly, Jacob wasn't there, like he was back in 2018 and 2019. I do hope there will be a time he comes back.
Dong is not here.
Or maybe two Jacobs is a crowd, because my name is Jacob.
There were three little pigs who lived together in mutual respect and in harmony with their with their environment. Okay. You see.
The next day, I met up with some more furries. There were some that even did sketch commissions for charity, where you could get a sketch of your persona when you donate $5 to charity.
Good warm up.
Later that day, there was a big fursuit parade with lots of furries in their fursuits walking down the hall, and people gathered around to see their favorite fursuiters walk by. By dinner time, it was time for the winter feast. Like the sponsor dinner, there was a lot of food, and Pepper Coyote was playing music as we ate. Andy and Cope were even seen on the stage doing a dance to some love songs. There was even lemonade and some pies for dessert. Yum! The next panel I attended was a meet and greet for Dutch Angel Dragons. It was hosted by the one who started the Dutch Angel Dragons. That would be Telephone. To my surprise, she only spoke. I remember the interview she did with Majira Strawberry, and all she did was squeak. There were other Dutchies there as well, and after the Q&A, there was plenty of time to chat with them. All this made me think of creating my own Dutchie one day. The next panel I attended was some education on animation with Sherbert. I had a fun time learning about how animated films are made with Sherbert. I recorded a very long video of that, but it was too much data to transfer to my computer, and so I just took a few pictures with him. Also, Sherbert was headless for the most part. Something I didn't know before was that Sherbert is looking to create his own anime series and has worked with various studios on that. These studios helped him create the intro you see in his videos. Sherbert, if you are watching this, then I hope you have a great success with your series. Already, I thought of a friend of mine who lives in New Zealand who's willing to create her own series called Talius. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. That night, I went to listen to bedtime stories with Zafar the giraffe, but he didn't read any books like Tabin did. There were many stories Zafar had told us about how he found the fandom and what inspired him to be a giraffe. I found both of these stories to be rather good. I met Safara at the previous Anthro Northwest, and he certainly is one of my favorite storytellers, aside from Mr. Pup himself. After story time with Safara, I paid a visit to the cardboard castle. It has a small table where one can draw pictures and hang them all over the castle. I also decided to go on the balcony. After that, it was time to go back to bed and prepare for tomorrow, the final day of Anthro Northwest. On the last day, I started by attending a panel run by Paco Panda. Andy was already there, sitting in what appears to be Paco's podium. Then Cove arrived, carrying a basket with an egg in it. She later ran around and even tested the microphonic devices. Then Paco arrives and the event begins. We were given the challenge of drawing Andy, Cove, and 2 other fursuiters in various poses. Some of them were funny, some were romantic, and others were in ways I have no idea how to describe. The final panel I attended was Furry Wheel of Fortune, hosted by Kajani Lion. We were put in teams of 4, and we all had a controller that was used to spin the wheel with the push of a red button. This was played exactly as Wheel of Fortune would have been on the television. You call out the letters that you think might be in the puzzle, with the exception of everyone being put in teams. At the end of the panel, prizes are handed out to the winners. That night, an auction was held. It was just like any other. There were items placed on the table and they are sold to the highest bidder. I didn't participate, but it was fun to watch. After that, I took time to witness a lot of playful furries in the hallway. Even Andy and Cove seemed to be having fun. Then it was time for the closing ceremony. Gabriel, the CEO of Anthro Northwest, made an impressive and touching speech. Let's listen.
You know, part of being human is sharing love with each other. We are lucky to be able to do that here together. As you go home, I hope the love stays with you, and that you can share it with the world around you. The world could use a lot more love right now, whether you're a big fluffy animal or just a regular human. If you acquire love, the world will change around you.
Part of the goal of Anthro Northwest is to hold charity for animals in need at Sarve Wildlife Care Center. We hear a speech from one of the directors at Sarve talking about how much was raised and how it helps the animals at Sarve. Let's listen.
Is not the final total because there's still one more final auction bidding at the end, but right now we're at $15,566.07. Hospital building, and we're definitely going to make sure our lobby has a huge thank you to Anthro Northwest for all the support you guys have been giving us since 2017. We've been a part of this con, and it's just an amazing opportunity for us. We have a great time connecting with all of you, learning about your connection to us. We hear so many people come up and say, oh, we brought you an animal, or my dad was connected in this way, or just so many. It's a small world, so it's wonderful to be here. And I can't thank Gabriel and Hubcap and all the charity doodlers and everybody that donated towards all the auction and raffle items. Munchkin for making the beaver suit this year. Probably forgetting somebody, but all of you that just want to support the work we do. It's really from our heart. We really appreciate it, and we love being here. So thank you so much.
The theme of Anthro Northwest in 2023 was love, and it reminded me of something I heard on VeggieTales. God made you special, and He loves you very much. This year's Anthro Northwest was about family, and the people who attended this convention has always been like family to me, with their silliness, socialness, and their love. It's a big shame that I didn't get to come this year, but hopefully I'll get to attend next year. And with that, it's time to get on a train and go home. I hope you all had fun with me on this trip of Anthro Northwest 2023. I'll hopefully see you the next time I get to go. I'm certainly hoping it will be next year. Until then, keep your steam up, and I'll see you later. All aboard!
들어오는 열차는 우회역을 통과하는 열차입니다. 선로 가까이 계시면 이동하고 선에서 한 걸음 물러서 주시기 바랍니다. The train approaching.